Matthews' toe drag. While many players in the NHL value those with exceptional power or speed, for Austin Matthews, being a special player is more than just being fast. Matthews' superpower is his ability to slow down suddenly under intense pressure, and when moving incredibly fast, he often creates shooting opportunities. Matthews didn't invent the toe drag, but he has gotten the best out of it. He could be moving like someone in a haste to score, but as soon as he sees the defenders closing in on him, he slows down out of the blue. This is something he's done against many teams, and most notably against the Buffalo Sabres. He had Sabres players closing down on him, found a way to slow down time, and landed a perfect shot with 3 seconds left to play. It may be difficult to explain what Matthews does, but he has time under his control. Matthews' toe drag isn't a move that everyone considers special. However, that doesn't make it any more regular. You see, his ability to slow down suddenly in the middle of intense action is as special as a signature move can get. On paper, it might not seem like this is supposed to trouble defenders, but when a hockey player can consistently transition from full speed to stopping abruptly, they can be a nightmare for defenders. It's like stepping on the brakes of a car at full speed without an accident, and he does this in less than a second. When he does it, the only part of him that doesn't seem to stop is his heartbeat. Unfortunately, most defenders are unable to stop. They continue with their momentum, and when they do this, Matthews can pick his spot without being under pressure. His ability to stop in a moment is magical, but his ability to stay completely calm while doing so takes it to a whole new level. Svechnikov's Michigan. On October 29, 2019, Svech scored an absolute beauty at home against the Calgary Flames. He didn't get it named after him, but this goal is as beautiful a goal as the Forsberg one-handed tuck or the Datsyuk flip. After this goal, he got the fans jumping up and yelling in disbelief. If you hadn't seen the exact moment he scored, you would think something had gone wrong. Just when it seemed like every goal in the NHL had to be from the goalie's front, Andrei Svechnikov came up with a move that virtually every goalie in the league hates. To score with his signature move, he has to get behind the goalie. Once out of sight, he lifts the puck up and scoops it into the post. He has scored a couple goals like this, but one of the most notable was his goal against the Calgary Flames in his rookie season. That was the first time people saw him score a goal like this, and it helped tie the game. He had probably done something like this in training, but never in front of the camera. It was as if he had invented a rule that didn't exist. This goal didn't come with extra points, but it was so good that fans lost their minds for a moment. It's pretty easy to explain how Svechnikov scores goals like this, but really, this signature move is easier said than done. On the surface, it appears to be a goal that anyone can achieve with enough practice, but the truth is, it takes much more than just time on the ice. You need near-perfect hand-eye coordination, precise timing to lift the puck, and the control to move with it and drop it into the net without it slipping off your blade before you even reach the post. And if you think coordination alone is enough, you probably haven't seen Svechnikov pull it off. Scoring a goal like this also demands incredible balance and boldness, especially under the intense pressure of a league as competitive as the NHL. It gets more interesting. The goalies are yet to discover a way to stop this move, and that's not because they aren't putting in the work. The major challenge is that they weren't trained to stop shots that don't come from ice level. This probably means that goalies will need to undergo a new training routine to begin stopping this shot. Sadly, NHL-level goalies might not have time for such a routine. Ovi's slap shot. Famous for the way it dives toward the net, its unpredictable nature, and its velocity, Alex Ovechkin's unique and powerful slap shot has played a significant role in his record-breaking goal-scoring career in the NHL. If there's just one superstar move that the NHL should make a rule to counter, it has to be Ovi's slap shot. He simply positions himself on the left side of the opponent's goal, not minding what's going on in the game, and waits for an opportunity to take a strike. Everyone in the game knows what he's up to. It's never a secret, but he really can't be stopped. So what does he do in this position? Well, he holds his stick high in the air and waits patiently like a predator waiting for its prey. And when he gets a chance, he releases a shot. Although he has scored other types of goals, this was how he scored his 700th. If you're wondering how he generates so much power, you might never find out. However, one thing he does a little differently is that he stops skating for a moment before he takes the shot. This most likely helps with his focus and also with the power behind the shot. You might be wondering why no one has been able to stop him. Sadly, you may never get an answer. He's been at this for more than 2 decades, and it doesn't seem like any team's defense has been able to devise a tactic to stop him. You see, on the surface, it might seem like this shot is about power, but there's a lot more to it. It's about a special ability to manipulate the puck, strategy, and technique. Usually, Ovi has a general area in mind when he prepares for a one-timer. Top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, and that's pretty much decided before he begins his downward swing. Then, everything else comes into play and determines where the shot ends up. His strategy is to make it as hard as possible so you can't track its path. It works for him because he almost always gets it on the net. The more you wind up for a shot, the less accurate it becomes. He's picking his spot and just trying to shoot as hard as possible. Unlike Ovi, who relies on a lot of power and doesn't even think he needs to be discreet, the next NHL star is a master at hiding his intentions. Kucherov's fake shot move. Being able to shoot with raw, unstoppable power is excellent, but why put so much power behind your shots when you can score sublime goals without even making contact with the puck? When Kucherov is in goal-scoring position, he doesn't need to do much. He simply acts like he's about to pull the trigger. This elicits a reaction from the goalie. Well, he doesn't hit the puck after the keeper moves. He simply allows it to move on its path until it scores. Usually, the puck goes between the goalie's legs while he just keeps skating like he did nothing. This might not be the easiest way to score, but it's as smooth as a goal can get in the NHL. So, how is Kucherov able to trick the goalie? Well, his move might seem complex, but to him it's really simple. He knows that when he attempts to take a shot, the goalie will drop low to block it. Usually, the goalie tries to read his body language, and this is where he always wins. He drops his shoulders and actually moves his stick. Interestingly, he doesn't make any contact with the puck. On paper, it might not seem like this would work. However, in reality, it always works because goalies have little to no time to make a decision. While the goalies are busy wondering what he's up to, the puck goes right through their legs without them actually knowing. This might be difficult to believe if you have never been a victim of this move, but Kucherov's motion is the same both when he shoots and when he fakes a shot, so his body language never gives him away. Shea Weber's slapshot bomb. Shea Weber was one of the most complete defensemen in the history of the game. Cannon of a shot, hit like a Mack truck, played stifling defense, was a feared fighter, and could skate and distribute the puck like a top-end offensive defenseman as well. In hockey, players shoot to score, but Weber thinks that's a little too basic, so when he wants to score, instead of just shooting, he launches missiles. If there's a player you don't want shooting a puck at you, it's Weber, because you just might get injured. He's punched holes in boards simply by hitting the puck. You'd almost think a big fat bullet went through the board. Yeah, it's that powerful. There are YouTube compilations of players getting injured after being hit by his shot. It's that serious. This definitely gives you an idea of how hard they are, but if you don't have a clear idea yet, his shot was once recorded at 108.5 miles per hour. Outfield players aren't the only ones who are uncomfortable with his shots. Goalies feel the same way. Unfortunately, unlike outfield players who can choose to be either in his line of fire or get out of his way, goalies don't exactly have a choice. They have to stay put and defend the post, and trust me, standing in the way of Weber's shot is quite a scary time to be a goalie. You could be on your way to the hospital if you get hit. His shots are so hard, the sound they make after hitting the crossbar is a lot different from those made by other people's shots. That's not all. When the puck finds its way into the net after his shot, it doesn't stay put. It bounces out. Even the net wants nothing to do with his shot. Crosby's backhand. Crosby uses a nearly flat blade to ensure his backhand has as much rip as possible, and this, as simple as it might be, puts him in a class of his own. Having a powerful shot is admirable, but sometimes you don't need to hit the puck too hard. You just need to be accurate, and that's something Crosby knows well. He might not have all the power behind his shot. However, in addition to Crosby's accuracy, he has some speed. There have been situations in which he deflected rebounds so quickly out of midair, and he didn't even need to swing hard at all. All he did was flick his wrist. Depending on his wrists to take some great shots is interesting, but there is more. His angles are extraordinary. In addition to these unusual angles, he has a reputation for generating a considerable amount of power. Upon examining his remarkable ability in depth, it appears as if a supercomputer powers him. Somehow, before a strike, his mind calculates the power, angles, and placement in less than a second. You see, there are several types of shots in the NHL, and goalies go through various training sessions to stop them, but they still don't quite have an answer to Crosby's shots. This is regardless of the fact that he doesn't even have much power behind them. As far as goalies are concerned, his backhand is a wild card and is even more potent than lots of players' forehands. Well, we haven't seen him do so much with his forehand, so his backhand is likely more potent than his forehand. He once went past 3 players in a game against the Sabres and effortlessly slotted the puck into the net with his backhand. McDavid's speed goals. Connor McDavid is so fast on the ice that he was recorded to have hit a personal best of 23.92 miles per hour during a breakaway in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. A combination of his agility, speed, and puck handling helps him create and finish off scoring opportunities. The NHL in itself is fast, but when a player can move a lot quicker than others, he becomes unstoppable, and that's McDavid's reality. He has a reputation for skating fast, but when he can't skate any quicker, he finds a faster gear. He has done this several times, but one of the most notable was against the Calgary Blades. In this game, he suddenly got into hyperspeed and went past 3 defenders so quickly, you would think they suddenly stopped moving. Although he does this repeatedly, it's almost impossible to describe what happens. For the average player, it seems normal to get slower with the puck, but that's far from the situation with McDavid's. He actually becomes faster. This might not seem special if you have no idea how fast hockey is, but folks who do know how fast the NHL is can better appreciate his speed. You see, NHL players move as fast as athletes can, and McDavid goes past them like they're children. And he does this while maintaining perfect control of the puck. Stamkos one-timer. To do well in sports, you need muscle memory. This is something that Stamkos has taken to the extreme. He does this almost as if he were a robot. Of course, it doesn't always work. However, he gets it right 8 out of 10 times. This is impressive. Interestingly, he makes it look so simple, and that's because he has a secret technique. You see, before the puck gets to him, Stamkos is already loaded and ready to strike. So as soon as the puck comes, all he needs to do is change its direction. He doesn't alter its momentum. Instead, he takes advantage of it. A lot of times, he doesn't even look at the net. He always knows where the net should be or looks at it before the puck comes to him. Since Stamkos doesn't always get this right, you might want to deny its effectiveness, but you'd be wrong. This signature move only works when the timing is right. If things are off by a millisecond, the puck might go directly at the goalie or might be a little high. However, each time it connects, it's artistic. Zach Benson's between the legs. Speaking of a player's signature move being artistic, Benson's between the legs is one move that can be best described as a work of art. Although he isn't the only player who can get the puck in between the legs, unlike other players who do this when looking to get out of a tight corner, he does this at will and when looking to beat defenders right in front of their net. And after beating these defenders, he's still able to score. Now, this signature move might not sound so special. However, pulling it off while maintaining balance is something that lots of hockey players need to study. The fact is, the average player in the NHL will lose their balance if they try to do this, and even if they manage to get the puck between their legs while maintaining their balance, they might be unable to take a shot. Well, Benson made this move look cool and easy. It seems so simple, kids started trying it out. Well, he's carved a niche for himself, but he has also earned the coach's dislike, as no one wants to have a player this good go up against their team. Subban's heavy slap shot. We've seen a couple of heavy shots mentioned in this video, but Subban's is so heavy that the goalies feel a significant impact after making a save. Their gloves move back. He puts his entire weight behind each shot, and the way he does it is something we might never fully understand. Regular players can't stay between his shot and the net, and usually when goalies catch this shot, they complain about how heavy it hits. After his shot, regardless of the distance, the puck remains heavy until it makes contact with either the goalie or the net. He isn't the only one who shoots heavy shots, but what helps him stand out from other players is that those by other players slow down with distance. Vasilevsky's behind the back catch. We've seen a couple of signature moves from NHL players. Seeing one keeper seems right, and Vasilevsky's reflexes make him the perfect player for the moment. He's famous for his behind the back catch. In one playoff, a puck was finding its way behind him. He could have fought hard to stop it, but that wasn't what he did. He simply reached behind and caught it as if it were nothing. Interestingly, he didn't even need to turn around. All he did was move his limbs. He does this so easily it almost feels like he's Spider-Man. It feels as though Vasilevsky spent ample time studying the trajectory of the puck. He knows where it'll be at every point without even trying. Some people consider this to be a form of good luck, but that's far from what it is. Actually, it's an advanced level of hockey IQ. It's incredible. It seems like he's some kind of cheat code. Kevin Bieksa's Superman punch. Not every signature move in the NHL helps teams win games. Some can make teams lose games, and one example of this is Kevin's Superman punch. Of course, this isn't a hockey move. Nonetheless, it's a move that many hockey stars will never be able to execute, even if they spend all day practicing. Kevin once had an altercation with Gudas, and he took him out with just one punch. He leapt in the air like someone in the WWE and hit Gudas, who, in turn, fell like he had been hit with Thor's hammer. Mike Smith's wandering. Speaking of NHL goalies with something special, Mike Smith, who guarded the goal for the Edmonton Oilers, had a reputation for never staying in front of the goal. He spent a lot more time behind the net. You would consider him an outfield player. Of course, this didn't always go as planned. You don't need to be a hockey player to know this. However, each time it turns out right, he looked really great. Beyond merely leaving the front of his net frequently, Smith passed the puck in ways that some wingers even struggled to do, and when it felt like he'd seen it all, he decided to take things a level never imagined by scoring from his own net. It really doesn't get crazier. Smith's puck handling will always be special, but it didn't necessarily make him a better hockey player. When he was with the Flames, someone conducted a breakdown of his statistics compared to those of other goalies and whether his puck handling actually led to a better transition game. The answer was no. Kane's stick handling. Every player in the NHL handles the stick well, but Patrick Kane takes stick handling to another level. In a game, he could be moving at regular NHL speed only to slow down while moving the puck at dazzling speeds, then score. Other players hit the puck with a lot of force, but he doesn't need to. The puck is so under his control, you would think it's glued to his blade. He keeps moving from forehand to backhand and back to forehand again so effortlessly. His puck-moving ability is a beauty to behold. Sadly, goalies don't feel the same way, as it tends to make them feel dizzy. Of course, they know he's going to shoot, and if you think Kane alternates between forehand and backhand because he's showing off, you're dead wrong. There's a reason behind every single move he makes. Sometimes it's to find the best shooting angle. Others, it's all about reading the goalie's position. Barkov's extended backhand. A lot of the signature moves in the NHL look possible on paper, but we can't say that about Finnish hockey player Sasha Barkov's extended backhand. This move really shouldn't be possible, but he makes it look easy. The fact that no one has mentioned the length of his stick may be surprising. He plays with a tall stick, especially for someone who's as skilled with his hands as he is. Typically, a shorter stick gives you more control, so his ability to handle the puck the way he does with the stick as long as it is awe-inspiring. When you watch Sasha take his backhand shot, you can't help but wonder if he used to take part in fencing, as the move can be easily compared to a fencing lunge. This shot usually surprises goalies as they never expect any player to shoot from such an angle. Teixeira's French poke. Many signature moves in this video are result-oriented, but this move doesn't just produce results, it also disrespects opponents. Unlike other hockey stars who try to control the puck with two hands, Alexander Teixeira leaves one hand doing nothing and simply holds the stick with one hand. Naturally, he shouldn't have all the control and balance he'd need to score, but he pretty much seems unaffected. This move might seem very nonchalant and casual, however, it's as effective as any move in the NHL can get. Even more interesting is the fact that he doesn't even really hit the puck, he simply makes a slight touch and is able to beat the goalie. Datsyuk's shootout move. Barkov's extended backhand is insane, but so is Datsyuk's shootout move. To pull it off, he comes in slowly and fakes a shot. The keeper gets confused, moves a bit to the left, and in no time, the puck is in the net. Interestingly, it goes through the top corner. It's challenging to understand how he does it, but it seems like the puck is glued to his stick. Sometimes this looks so good that his stick begins to feel like a magic wand. If you watch him closely, you often can't even tell when he's faking a shot and when he's shooting. The puck just calmly finds its way into the net. Many guys can finish on the backhand and hit it out of the park. That was Hudler's go-to move, but not a lot of guys can pull off that backhand-forehand deke like Pavel did. Although Datsyuk isn't the only one who can pull off this move, he was the first to do it, and no one really does it better. McKinnon's acceleration cut. Nathan MacKinnon embodies many qualities that the average NHL player aspires to achieve. He plays as if he's following a carefully crafted script, either one he's written himself or one he studied beforehand. You might not fully understand this unless you've experienced competing against him. MacKinnon dictates the pace of the game. At first, he plays as if he has all the time in the world. When his opponents start to feel calm, he suddenly bursts into speed. He understands the limits of endurance in a hockey game, but when you expect him to slow down, he often does the opposite. He makes sharp cuts, and if you thought he would ease up to do this, you clearly underestimate him. He moves with complete control over the ice. While the average NHL player tends to slow down when changing direction, MacKinnon accelerates toward the net at full speed. Consequently, those attempting to keep up with him are forced to slow down. Even if they refuse to ease their pace, they simply cannot match his speed. It's impossible for average players to make a cut without slowing down first. What's even more intriguing is that after these cuts, his initial steps are often significantly faster than his straight line speed. This phenomenon seems to defy physics, yet it's a reality for those who chase him. Several NHL coaches have taken time to study his unique movement. Some have even tried to devise strategies to defend against it. Their approach typically involves assigning their fastest players to stay close to him. Unfortunately, his change of direction is nearly impossible to defend. It's akin to teaching a fish how to fly. So let's rewind for a second. MacKinnon's accelerated cut, Datsyuk's shootout move, Teixeira's French poke, Barkov's extended backhand, Kane's stick handling. Out of all these NHL superstars' signature moves, which one do you consider the most outstanding? Let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next video.